Alright guys, if you're looking to buy entry-level performance coilovers, you'll probably come across two very popular kits. One is the BC Racing BR series, which is quite possibly the most popular kit on the market today, and the Fortune Auto 500 series, which is a very good entry-level coilover and for performance and track use. And in this video, I'm going to go over the differences between these two and which one you should get depending on what you're looking to get out of your suspension setup. So these two coilovers feature a lot of similarities, but there's also a couple key differences. And firstly, we'll start with the monotube dampers. So they both feature monotube dampers. However, there's one key difference, and that is that these are linear and the Fortune Autos are actually digressive. So what that basically means is that these have a linear valving on the dampers, which means that they're going to react linearly in that the more force is applied to the damper, the more damping it's going to do. Whereas with the digressive one, what happens is the force shoots up very quickly at low damper speeds and then tapers off. If you want to know the key differences between these two, I have a whole video on this. I'm going to put a link above and in the description below, so you can go watch that if you want to know what the big differences between the linear and the digressives and all the details with that. But basically, these are more comfortable because they're less responsive due to the linear damping. These are much more responsive and give you more feel as the driver, but they're going to be at a bit of a sacrifice of comfort because you're going to feel a lot more from the road. And so that makes these a little bit more performance oriented and valved more for performance driving, whereas these typically makes them a little bit better for comfort. Now, as a side point, there is the DS series, which is basically the same as the BR series, except that they are digressive. And so the DS series are actually more similar to the Fortune Auto 500s. But because most people go for the BR series, that's what I'm going to go in this video. Basically, everything I'm going to put on this side for the BR series is going to apply to the DS series, except the fact that these are digressive. So just keep that in mind if you want to potentially consider those maybe, because I think they're a little bit cheaper than the Fortune Autos. The next feature on the list is that these have 30-way adjustment on the dampers, whereas these have 24-way. They are rebound only. So what that means is, on these ones, when you adjust the damping, you adjust the compression and the rebound as well. However, on the Fortune Autos, you can't adjust the compression, but you can adjust the rebound, how fast that goes. And so that's something to keep in mind, that they only offer that on these ones. That's not necessarily a bad thing at all. However, it's something to keep in mind depending on what specifically you're looking for from your coilover kit. Now, the next thing is shock body height adjustment. They both have shock body height adjustment. I'm just going to put HA. Now, if you want to know the difference between that and the spring perch height adjustment, I've got a whole video on that as well. The link will be above and in the description below. Basically, this allows you to adjust the height of the car independently of the spring and the damper position. You just adjust the lower mount and it just shortens the whole thing, as opposed to winding the spring perch and bringing the whole damper piston down with it. So go watch that video if you want to know more specifics, but basically these two both offer the same type of height adjustment, so there's no difference there. Now, the next thing is that these are made in Taiwan and these are hand assembled in America, in Virginia specifically. And so what that basically means is that these are easier to get serviced, because if you want to ship them out to Fortune Auto, you can ship them directly to their headquarters in Virginia, and they can service them or upgrade them, which I'm going to get into later as well. Whereas with the BC Racing BR series, it's not necessarily a negative that they're made in Taiwan, except the fact that you can't send them directly to them. However, there are service centers in America that will deal with the BC Racings as well. And so therefore, that's not a huge factor, but it's something if you care about and you'd rather buy a domestic product. These are hand assembled in USA. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to confirm where the parts come from for the Fortune Autos, so it's quite possible that they also come from Taiwan. They're being hand assembled in America. That's what they advertise, so that's what we know. Now, the next thing is BR series offer an extreme low kit, and the Fortune Auto 500s have a super low kit as well. So basically, they will both get you to the same height, lowering. If you want to go super low, they both allow you to do that. Now, the next thing on the list is they have pillow ball camber adjustable top mounts on McPherson strut cars, and so do the Fortune Autos. Those are on McPherson strut cars. On cars that are not McPherson strut, these ones have rubber, and these ones have, depending on the model, either aluminum or steel versions, probably with a rubber bushing as well. So bear that in mind. The camber adjustment is obviously only on McPherson strut cars. With both of these, if you have rear adjustment, for example, Subarus that allow you to adjust the camber on the rear, you can get an optional rear camber top mount as well. So bear that in mind if you want those. The next thing is that these are rebuildable, and so are the Fortune Autos. So both of them can be easily rebuilt if you need to, with all the parts being readily available, so that's no particular problem. They're both also customizable. So with both the BC Racings and the Fortune Autos, you can specify specific spring rates, and then they will valve the dampers to match the spring rates, etc. And you have a pretty wide selection there. So if you have a specific case or you want a specific setup, both of them will accommodate you and give you what you're looking for. Now the next thing is you can get Swift Spring upgrades in both of them. So neither of them have Swift Spring standard, but you can upgrade the Swift Springs if you want. For extra, it's between $300 and $400 for the whole kit all around to get the Swift Springs if you want. So they both do offer that option, so you don't have to buy them separately. The BC Racings come with a 2-year warranty, and the Fortune Autos come with a 5-year warranty, which is actually one of the longest warranties I've seen on coilovers in the market completely. So that's actually a very impressive warranty. So this is actually a big selling point to keep in mind, because if you need to use it, it's quite good to get 5 years of support. It's actually very impressive. So keep that one in mind for this. That is a major factor. And it also shows their confidence for their kits, the fact that they're willing to offer something like that. So keep that in mind as well. Now the next thing is BC Racing have a bigger range. So they have over 800 I think it's around 800 different car models that they've actually made kits for, whereas the Fortune Autos are only made for about 150 different car models. So most of the popular ones, if you drive anything remotely popular for modifying, Fortune Auto probably has a kit for it. However, BC Racing's range is by far larger. So bear that in mind. You may not be able to get a Fortune Auto kit for your car, depending on what it is. Now, the next thing is one key selling point the Fortune Autos have, which the BC Racings don't, and basically we're at the end of the feature list for these, but there's a couple more for the Fortune Autos, is that they are upgradable. So this is a pretty big point. If you are tracking your car, or you might need to upgrade your coilovers later, these actually offer you the option to upgrade to one of their higher spec ones. So for example, they got a 510 series or a 2-way adjustable series where you can adjust the compression and rebound independently, and you can actually upgrade this kit to the spec of those kits, so you don't have to buy a whole new kit over again. You just upgrade your current one. You can add the external reservoir so that you can get the 2-way adjusting, etc. And so that's an important thing to keep in mind. If you think that you might need to do that at a later date, then these are actually a good option to potentially consider now, so that you get them and then you can do that later. Now the next thing as well is that every shock is dyno tested by Fortune Auto at their facility in America and paired within 5% variation to each other. If they're not within the 5% range, they don't actually use the dampers and they throw them out. So what this means is that all your dampers are guaranteed to match each other, so that the car actually performs the same on on the 2 corners on the same axle. Otherwise, you can have the suspension doing 2 different things, and that's the last thing you want. And so with these ones, you can be sure that that's actually done with every kit that goes out the door. So that's a very important point, especially if you're doing performance driving and you actually, care about what your suspension is doing. So keep that one in mind as well. And the last thing is that they have a specific high flow digressive piston technology. So these are designed to give them the digressive valving, but also to find a good balance between comfort and performance. And so that's a specific thing that Fortune Auto has put together for their dampers. So that's another thing to consider. So basically, the Fortune Autos are a higher quality kit. Oh, there's one last point actually I want to make, and I'm running out of space here, but I'll put it up here, is aluminium parts for less weight. So they actually use aluminium for a lot of their parts, like the top mounts and things like that, so that it reduces the weight of the overall coilover, and that's obviously a bit of a benefit if you're looking at performance driving. So that's basically it for these 2 coilovers. As you can see, the list for the Fortune Autos is a bit longer. However, they are a bit more expensive. They're typically around $17.99 for most models, whereas the BC Racing BR series are about $11.95 for most models. So you are going to be paying more for the Fortune Auto 500s, but you do get more for your money. You get the specific dampers with the digressive valving. You get the 5-year warranty. You get the potential to upgrade them later. You get the support from Fortune Auto, etc., etc. So they are a little bit of a higher quality kit. Well, a bit higher, but they're also a little bit higher price, so that's something to keep in mind. So basically, the difference between these 2, if you're trying to decide, is if this is a street or daily driver with some track, you should probably get these. And if you're on a budget, obviously. So we'll go budget as well. If you're on more of a budget and you can't exactly get these, then get these. If you want more performance, but it is still a street car, so we'll go for performance plus more track. So maybe you're going to be at the track more regularly than you would be with, let's say, the BC Racings, and you want a coilover kit that can handle it, will give you more response, etc., and you have the money, then the Fortune Auto 500s are basically the one to go. So basically, if you have the money, get the Fortune Auto 500 series. If not, then you can get the BC Racing BR series, which is still good, and a lot of people use them on the track. There's nothing wrong with them. They're actually both very good coilover kits, but if you want that little bit extra performance and a little bit extra quality and the extended warranty, then the Fortune Autos are definitely an excellent option, especially at that price. They're not very expensive for what they are, in my opinion. So that's basically it. That's the difference between these two. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any questions about any of these, put them in the comments below and I will answer them. Otherwise, if you're looking to buy either one of these coilovers or any other coilover kit, head over to our website, nefariousracing.com. We stock all the BC Racing kits and the Fortune Auto kits and a bunch of other brands as well. So we can supply these for you even with the customizations and everything. And if you are not sure which coilovers you should get, whether it's between one of these two or any kit in general, we have forms on the website you can fill out, or you can email us at info@nefariousracing.com and we'll help you select the right coilover kit for your car depending on your budget and your needs and requirements. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Catch you on the next one.